are we all? Let me just change this lighting slightly. Oh, no, not to that. Sorry, guys. There we go. How are we all out there? Hope we're all okay. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are stories I like to bring to you. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Let me just try something here with Mick. There we go. Yeah, oh God. Well, that was a really bad intro, wasn't it? That was awful. Well, what I like to do, I like to have a little chat with the guys in the live just for a couple of minutes. Wherever. Oh, God. Mick is out in force. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm trying to do an intro and I keep cocking it up. All right. I didn't mean to say cock it up then either. I didn't mean to say that. Hi, sis and Hayley, Courtney, Warwick, hello. Let me try again. Let me try this intro again. Okay. Hi, Phil. Okay. Welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 PM. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are what stories I like to bring to you. If you want to join us here on the live, that would be amazing. Or if you want to join my Patreon, patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. My process is normally, that's pants as well. I can't get this intro right. I can't get it right. I've done really well lately. I've done so well on those lately. And I've got myself all frazzled again over it, for goodness sake. Right. Well, it's live. It's live and this happens. So if you'd like to join us in the live, that'd be amazing. They're a great bunch in the live. I do have a little chat with them once I start the story. I don't stop. The flapping's already started. I don't stop. And then I'll have a chat with them at the end. But once I do start the story, there's no swapping and changing during the story. That's what I meant to say. It just took me 2.5 minutes to get that out. Oh, God. How are we, guys? How are we all? I was thinking I'd have got in trouble, to be honest, because it is request evening. And as you've noticed, it's not request name that I'd said I was going to do. And I am going to do it, I swear. I am doing that one. I promise. But it's just ridiculous. It's not me. It's not. But, yes, it's all gone wrong already. Anyway, I'm doing a different one for you because I came up with this one. One, I don't know how I haven't heard of it, let alone done it before. So I thought I'd ruin all your Tuesday nights and it wouldn't be something that you're aware of. So I've caught you off guard. That's my argument to it and I'm sticking to it. That's what I'm going to say. Mickey's on there, isn't he? Mick's out tonight. Mick's there saying, I'm loud and proud. Look at me. I know you didn't request this one. That's the point I'm trying to make. I haven't done the one you requested. I know. It's so naughty. I know it is. And as moderator, I should, but I've snuck another one in. I'm so sorry, and I will do it, I promise. I don't know why I keep slapping myself here, because I'm sure you can hear it. I'm sure you can hear slapping. But, yeah, so I think that's why I've got myself overly, excited, because I'm like, it's not the one I was supposed to do. I do have a lot of excited on nerves. It's nerves for me, Phil. It's nerves tonight. That's what the flapping is there. No. Do you know what it is? Okay. It is Request Live Tuesday. It is. That's what the name is. But, I was about to say, intrusive thoughts are about to jump out my mouth, then I stopped them before it jumped out of there. But I don't want to, no, I keep stopping myself. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that one. I swear I am. I honestly am. Oh, God. Tonight's started off with a bang, hasn't it? I am going to do it. I promise. I just haven't. Okay? I just haven't. I'd love to say I've got some big, like, reason. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, Phil. Thank you. Thank you. See, Phil understands. Phil understands. But yeah, so I'm doing a different one anyway. I should have just pretended someone else requested this one, shouldn't I, and jumped in front of you. I know. I don't know. It's all gone, Per. It's all gone horribly bad. Do you know what it is? This is what I'm like when I know I've done something wrong. Hey, Kelly! A bang or a slap? A slap. A slap at all times. Slap all times. No, bangs too much. Just a slap. Well, that was a bit much. That was a bit far-fetched, wasn't it? I didn't mean that to go on. Okay. Anyway, I want you all to get it out your systems now, and I'll get it out mine as well, because you're not going to feel like it in about, give it about 8 minutes, maybe. About 8 minutes. I feel like it's going to get very quiet in the comments. I'm just saying. Bang is too much just to say. Just on the legs, though. Just on the legs. Just on the... No, I'll fill the name. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I will, I swear. But you must have known, because I announced it earlier, what one I was doing. So, but out of curiosity, does anyone know this one? Just out of curiosity? Anyone know this one at all out there? Do you know what? I've got another question. Can we stop having a go at Jess? Yeah, stop having a go at me, guys. Stop it now. Just get on with it. Just have a flowing guesser. I've only got half it ready. It's just she's long. But has anyone heard of this one? Or am I about to devastate all your evenings without you realising it? Do you not know? Yes, we did, but me and Heidi thought this would be fun. Oh, okay. But do you know, so you do know this one? Oh my God, my glasses. I broke the other arm off my glasses, and I had to go to the school today with just one arm on the glasses, just hanging there. I was looking very odd. Hi, Sharon, how you doing? How are we? It all gone a bit a second ago, but I'm pulling it back. I don't know why I've got so loud, though. It got very loud. Oh, okay. That's fair enough. Yeah, it's a bit of a. I want to ask you something at the end as well. Remind me at the end. Someone say, Jess, there was something you wanted to ask us, and remind me, because I won't remember. Yes, I am. I'm very excited. Me and Sharon are gonna do like a mock live to have a practice. So I'm very excited about that. Where all of you can't see, you can't see where I'm. To be honest, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Are you getting it? Yes, we're excited. I don't know where this clicking's come from. This is new, guys. This is a new thing I've got going on. This thing here, I don't know what this is, so hopefully it'll phase out soon. Hopefully. But yes, very excited. I was about to argue, but there's a chance it will come through your phones anyway. Right, okay, where are we? It's the sorority clap. What is this? This is the clickers. Is that a clap? Is that classed as a clap? The clicky clap. Anyway, right, okay, I'm never going to get started otherwise. Right, I'm going, okay, the clicky clap. Okay, I'm going to start, all right. I'm going to You're a div. No, you can't. I'm going to start, and I think I just had a like, and I think someone just knocked it off. How can you just take away someone's like? But anyway, it's probably because I'm chatting, so I'm going to start anyway, okay? If you're watching tomorrow, this is where I'm beginning. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to carry on with the story. If you want to join us on the live, the guys are in there. But we're going to start now. Okay. The Awful Jessica Lunsford Story. All right? Okay. Jessica Marie Lunsford, nickname, well, not nickname, but as what are you doing? No more. That was it. That was your one chance. That was it. Out of your system. I'm not looking at you anymore. Do what you need to do. I told you in about 8 minutes. That's not going to happen. All right. So, all right. Jessica Marie Lunsford, 6th of October 1995, born in North Carolina. Obviously, a family called her Jessie. Her dad, Mark Lunsford, mum, Angela Bryant. She had 3 older siblings that were Mark's from a previous marriage. Okay. Now, Mark and Angela, like I say, they are married, but it got very contentious after Jessica was born. So they ended up divorcing by the time she was 1. So, now, very unusual back in the 90s, but Mark ended up getting a lawyer and getting full custody of Jessie. So her mum up and left to another state, and Mark just started to live his life as a single parent. Now, Angela, like I said, moved to another state. She'd moved to Ohio. I can never pronounce it. Ohio. She remarried. She went on to have another son. Different things that I've seen where she hadn't saw Jessie for many years, 4 years, 3 years. So, needless to say, she didn't have a lot of contact at all. So, now, Mark used to bring Jessie to work with him when she was quite young, and it was said that from a very early age, this girl could sort of drive quite heavy machinery, like a forklift. Don't know. I'm presuming her dad was sat there beside her, I would say so. But she used to, like, playing the wood chips while this guy was working and everything. So it reminded me slightly, if ever you have, if ever you've heard of, if ever you've watched, oh, what was that film with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler, the Doomsday film, brought up on the oil rigs. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, like a younger life, like working with, like in a warehouse, being around like her dad, when, you know, that kind of things. That's what it reminded me of. Anyway, Mark and Jessie though, Armageddon, thank you, Armageddon, that's what it kind of reminded me of just when I heard about a very early life. Now, Mark and Jessie then moved to Florida. Now, I don't know if I said at the beginning, and I'll kick myself if I didn't, but this was in North Carolina. Obviously an American story. But they then moved to Florida. Okay. And the reason for this is Archie and Ruth, who are Mark's parents, so Jessie's grandparents, they moved to Florida, you know, better life, sun year round, that kind of thing. So they move in with them. So they all live in a trailer, basically. It looked quite a nice trailer and stuff. And Mark, when he got there, got in a job as a dump truck driver. Okay. So Jessie, who was getting older, but at this point she's about 7, 8 years of age. So she spent a lot of time with her grandparents. She was going to school. And Mark himself was working up to 15 hours a day. Seemed to me this man was just trying to get and create a much better life for him and his kids. Because remember I said he's got 3 older children. Now, other things that I've seen, he said that he had custody of a couple of those as well, but they're not mentioned with regards to Jessie during this story. So I don't know if he was awarded custody of them or they did stay with the mum, but they're not mentioned. So it just seems to be Mark, Jessie, and the grandparents, which is obviously Archie and Ruth. Okay. So Jessie herself, I know I say it every time, and I know I say this every time, okay? But, just a gorgeous girl. Happy. Every picture I've seen of this girl, she's just got the biggest, I've heard someone say most contagious smile. I've heard of contagious laugh, but contagious smile actually suited these pictures I was seeing of her, because just the biggest cutie screen. Very, very pretty little girl. And it was said that that's who she was. She was just a very happy-go-lucky little girl. And it was said that she couldn't decide if she wanted to be a doctor or a fashion designer. And that was said to be because her nan would create outfits for like her little dolls and stuff. I don't know if it was for her as well, but certainly her little dolls. And so she started thinking about fashion and designing and stuff, or an Olympic swimmer. So, the world was her oyster at that point. She had very high hopes for herself, bless her. She loved church. She was a very, very girly girl, it appeared. She loved her teddies. Now, about 2 weeks before we start with this story, her dad had won like this blue dolphin at a fair. So this blue dolphin had become like her favourite teddy bear in the world at that point. She loved singing, and at the weekend her dad would take her to karaoke's and she'd sing either Pink or Shania Twain. She just seemed like the whole family seemed just like a very close-knit, happy family who just wanted to see this little girl, live her best life. Okay? So we get to February the 27th, 2005. Jessie is now 9. Okay? She'd gone to school as normal, and after school she used to go to like a church youth group, and there was a family friend called Shannon that used to take her and just teach her things. And there was this, like I say, it was a youth group. It was quite fun, but you could learn stuff as well. And on this particular night she was teaching us sign language. It was just different things each week, I believe, and this week was an update of learning sign language. So when Shannon dropped Jessie off, it was about 8:30 that night. She watched Shannon walk up the path, get to the door, and as she opened the door, Jessie turned round to look at Shannon, and she signed "I love you" to Shannon out before she walked in the house. So Mark got in around 9 p.m. Like I say, I think I've mentioned, he works very, very long hours. So he got in about 9 p.m. Spent an hour with Jessie just watching TV. It said she was just quite hype around the sofa, sort of jumping around the sofa and stuff. But at 10 p.m, Ruth, grandma, comes in and she's like, right, okay, time for bed now. So Jessie sort of starts getting ready for bed and going into, her room and stuff. Now, Mark he was getting ready to go out. Again, I've heard different reports. It was either a girlfriend or it was just a date. Or just a date with a girlfriend. I'm not too sure. It is relevant, but it doesn't come into play afterwards. So, so he was getting ready to go out on a date. So he goes up, he gives Jessie a kiss goodnight, and he leaves. Like I say, it's about 10 p.m. So Jessie says goodnight to Ruth and Archie, her grandparents, and she closes a door and she goes to bed. Okay. Archie and Ruth obviously turn in not long after and they go to sleep. Okay. Now Mark ends up staying the night with this said girlfriend or date. I'm not too sure. It says girlfriend in some things, but he ends up staying the night there. Okay. And before Jessie had gone to sleep, she got her clothes ready for school, put on her nightlight because she was very, very scared of the dark. It was a thing. So she'd have to have a nightlight and door kind of ajar, I've heard. Some said she wanted privacy. It was closed. Like I say, I've gone to various sources over this, but the one thing all of them say is this girl was very scared of the dark. Okay, and so the whole house goes to bed. Okay. Now, I'm going to come away from Jessie herself just for a second, and we're going to talk about a man called John Cooey. All right? Now, John Cooey, at the time of this story, is 49, all right? And John Cooey, at this point, is staying with his sister and her boyfriend, sister's daughter, which would be his niece, and her boyfriend, and their son, okay? So that would make 6 people living where John's living at the moment in time that we're talking about this story, okay? Now, John Cooey was born to a woman called Irene. Now, Irene had John when she was 16. So a very young mum. His dad was also called John or Johnny. And it was said that he was a violent alcoholic, not a nice guy at all. And it was said that, no, we can say it to age, but we know there are mums and dads of 16 years of age that know to hold a baby's head. Everyone knows to hold a baby's head when they're born. Okay, until they've got the muscles in their necks where they can keep themselves upright. But it was said that she just used to let his head just loll about everywhere. Like, and when people had let her know and tell her, look, pick the baby's neck up, like head up, she'd laugh. And she'd just allow him just to loll about. So it kind of says a little bit about her. She would feed him sugar water instead of milk. Then he's got a sister called Dorothy. Now remember, I said in current day he's living with Dorothy, but we have gone back just to tell you a bit about his history. So when the mum left the alcoholic Johnny, his dad, and Dorothy's dad, she goes on to meet another just rotten man called Bobby. Another violent man. This was when John was about 2 or 3. And John was beaten constantly. The one time he'd wet the bed, little John did. The one time he'd wet the bed, John did, and and he tied him up after wetting the bed. When the mum let him down, his head was slammed. His head was slammed into a door over and over again. Now, you might be wondering, I don't sound as empathetic, let's say, as I would normally when telling John's story. Okay, you might be thinking, she's not really, there's not a lot of sympathy for this guy considering what you're telling us. Well, you're gonna see why. Again, not such a long time. You're gonna see why my reaction isn't that of, how you would expect it to be, let's say. Alright. So, as I said, he was tied up from wetting the bed. When his mum had let him down, this boyfriend had stepped in, slammed him into a door over and over, and it was said that this could possibly have caused permanent brain damage. Okay. Oh, he was kicked and punched constantly. At about age 7, his head was held underwater in public, in like a pool. And when people were looking, he was like, he needs to learn a lesson. Okay, you've seen a 7-year-old get drowned and you're just going to be like, oh, his dad knows what he's doing, or his stepdad, whoever this man is. So that was when he was 7. Okay, so we get to when he's age 8. John and Dorothy move in with his Aunt Jean. And you might think, well, here we go. He might have a chance of a normal life. He's got away from his dad. He's got away from his mum. He's got away from his stepdad. Maybe, just maybe, he might stand a chance. Now, he's very, very small. He had literally zero speech. He hadn't been taught to talk. He hadn't been sent to school. He was very, very, very behind in his learning. And his Aunt Jean really tried. She enrolled him in school. She enrolled him. She enrolled him in school. She tried to get him into sort of special education classes, but it was said that she couldn't quite get him in there. But she done everything she could to try and get him to catch up. He had sort of, it was said, deformed ears. She even went and got those fixed to stop him getting bullied at school. So she tried with him. But it turns out that John and Dorothy weren't having this fresh start and maybe a chance of life because they were being abused by their uncle. I can only assume this is Jean's husband, and their grandfather. The uncle could possibly be Jean's brother, or it could be Jean's husband. It just says uncle and grandfather. So it's like they're jumping out of the frying pan into the fire every time. Age 10. Okay. This is when it does start to turn, because his cousin was asleep on the sofa and she woke up. She was older than John at this point, but she woke up to him undressing her, and she told her mum, Jean, and although the cousin says she wasn't scared of him when she woke up to him doing this to her, and she understood that maybe he didn't quite understand just what he was doing, but the aunt was just like, I can't, it's just a step too far. And I do understand, and she sent him away. She sent him away to go and live with another aunt. And then he was then sent to a boys' ranch. So basically, this John, age 0 to 10, just had a really rough start, a very, very, very rough start. But then when he, between 10 to 19, okay, not too sure. Not too sure. It's all a bit sketchy then, but we do know he started taking drugs at that point. Someone said 12, someone said 14, but he started to, yeah, he started to get involved in not just, what would you say? Are all drugs recreational? Would you call all I was about to say not just recreational drugs like weed, but do they all class as recreational? I messed up there, but it was oh, okay, been told now. Okay. Well, it was far beyond weed, let's just say that. He'd gone on to quite hard drugs, alright? Okay. Then he gets to age 19, alright? And he tries to abduct a young girl from her home. He's sentenced to 10 years, okay? And while he's in there, he has medical tests done on his cognitive ability, basically. Comes back that he's got an IQ of 79, all right? He's got an IQ of 79, okay? And had it been 70 or below, he would have classed as, oh God, I've lost the word. He would have classed as not developmentally delayed. It's, oh God, it's gone. It's gone. And I didn't write it down because I was like, I know what it is. Oh, I'm so sorry. IQ of 70 would have meant he had mild learning difficulties. My God, Jessica. Yes. But because he was over 79, he wasn't classed as having a learning difficulty. My goodness. Okay. Now, like I say, age 19, tries to abduct a young girl from her home, sentenced to 10 years. He only did 2. This man, who since the age of 10 has shown an interest, okay, in, let's say, abuse, let's say. He first his cousin, young girl. He gets to age 21, he's released from prison. He moves in with his mum. Do you remember Mum? Irene, Mum of the Year. So he moves in with her. But very soon after he moves in with her, he tries to sexually assault his 5-year-old stepsister. Okay? Because Irene, Mum of the Year, had gone on to have more children. And it was only the fact that, now this was the 5-year-old stepsister, it was only the fact that there was an older stepsister in the room when he tried to slip into the bed of the 5-year-old. She saw him do this, alerted everyone. That was the only reason he was caught. Now, the mum, Irene, she didn't call the police, she called his parole officer, right? But she did kick him out. She kicked him out of the house and she just says, look, I'm not your mum anymore. You're dead to me. Don't want to see you again. All right? Not that she'd ever really been a mum to him, but that was it. No longer. You haven't got a mum anymore. But there was no arrest of this man. And he is a man now. He's 21. Okay? He then gets married. John does. And has a little girl, all right, who he then also tries to sexually assault, okay? So, the wife kicks him out, all right, but there's no arrest done again She doesn't phone the police. She just kicks him out. Okay? So, then he goes after another 5-year-old girl after the fact. Another random 5-year-old girl. At this point, he's caught. Everything's caught up with him. He's again sentenced to 10 years. I bet you can guess it. Go on. Go on. Winner gets a click. Yes, he only gets 2 years again. Okay? And then, to real kicker, his file's then misplaced by his parole officer. Okay? So they all start losing track of John. So by the time he's 49 years old, and at the point of where I'm about to begin, he had had a total of 23 arrests for various, but majority, sexual assault on minors, or attempted. Okay. So, do you remember I said that at the point in this story, he was living with his sister? Do you remember I was saying that? He's living with his sister, her boyfriend, his niece, which I presume would be his sister Dorothy's daughter, and her boyfriend and the son. So there's 6 of them. They're living in a trailer. Okay. Do you want to know where the trailer is? Can anyone hazard a guess by any stretch of the imagination? It's 65 yards away from Jessie. From Jessie's trailer that she's living in with her dad and her grandparents. 65 yards. Okay. So, while he's living with his sister, there was an active warrant out for him for his arrest because he wasn't living where he was supposed to be living. Okay? Like I say, his parole officer lost his details and everything else. They didn't know where this man had gone. This sexual deviant who's supposed to be signed onto the register. Whole thing. They don't know where he is. Okay? So now we're going into the 24th of February 2005. So we've gone into the early hours. Now remember, Jessica had gone to bed. Archie and Ruth, her grandparents, had gone to bed. Alright. Her dad had gone out on a date, but he chose to stop out. And Jessie's asleep in her bed. Okay. John, who's high on drugs, decides, I'm a bit bored. I'm a little bit bored. I am. Okay. So, I'm gonna climb out my trailer window. Not come out of the door. Not come out of the door. But climb out of his bedroom window. Because John's room was actually in between. That'll become important soon. But it'll be in between his sister's and his niece's rooms. So he's in the middle. Okay. So rather than coming out of his bedroom door and going through the trailer, he climbs out of his window. Alright. And he walks over to the trailer where Jessie is fast asleep. Alright. He cuts an L shape in the screen door, reaches in and opens the front door. And he says he'd originally gone over to steal. He'd gone over to steal stuff, you know, because he's a druggie and he thought I might get a few things. It's questionable if that is really why he'd originally gone there. We're not too sure about that, but that's what he claims. That's what he claims his reason was for going in there. But he says that when he got in there, Jessie had woken up from the noise that he'd made. So, He says that that's when his plan changed, and he says to Jessie, right, okay, come with me and I'm going to take you to your dad. She's half asleep, she's 9 years old, okay? She asks him, can I bring my teddy, the dolphin teddy that I keep on mentioning, that her dad had won for her, that was her favourite teddy in the world. And just to keep her quiet, he was like, go on then, bring your teddy with you. So, with a little teddy and in a little pyjamas, she leaves the house with him. And he walks out the 65 yards back to his sister's trailer, and it said that he would have had to have put it back into his bedroom window. He then, over the next couple of hours, proceeds to sexually assault this little girl. In the morning, it said that he does it again. And then he puts her in his closet, okay? And he obviously threatens her. He says she has to go to the toilet in the closet as well, because he can't risk her going out into the trailer with there's 5 other people living in this trailer at this point. You know, one of them's a child, but 4 of them are grown adults. And so he makes her go to the toilet in the closet as well. But he also has a TV. And he gives her a telly to watch while he goes to work. Now, he's obviously threatened her. You don't leave that closet. You don't move. You don't make a sound. But, you know, you can watch the TV. And he put the news on for her. Okay. 5:45 a.m, Mark, Jessie's dad, now he gets back from his date. Okay, and when he comes into the house, he can hear Jessie's alarm going off. All right. And he doesn't think too much of it, so he literally goes into the bathroom to get washed up. He's come back, he's got to go back to work, he's going to take her to school. You know, so when he comes out of the bathroom, ready for work, he can hear her alarm still going off. He's like, she can't still be sleeping through that. Opens the bedroom door. He can see she's not in her bed. But the only things missing in that room is Jessie and her dolphins, excuse me, and her dolphin teddy. And at first, for a split second, he thinks she could have possibly got scared in the night and snuck in, you know, to sleep in the grandparents' bed. So he sort of opens their door slowly, has a quick look, sees that she's not in there, and immediately when he sees she's not there, he wakes them up. And he's like, she's not here. So, of course, the nan jumps up out of bed. She's like, look, she was fine. She was there when we went to bed last night. Don't know what's going on. So they call 911. All right. So, that's when they notice that the screen door is cut in the shape of this L. That's when they notice that. Well, when the police came out, as it happened, a few days previous, Jessie had been at the mall with her grandparents at the shopping area, and they were doing this, I don't know what you'd call it, but it was like a free thing that authorities were doing, where they would take fingerprints and like a little photo of children in the mall. And it was, I presume it was that if anything ever happened to these children, like their fingerprints are on record, you know, to be able to trace them and stuff. And as it happened, this was, you know, an amazing thing to have happened in one way. I don't know if amazing is the right word, but when the police came out, though, although they told them, look, we've got this that we've got done in the mall, so we've got her photo, if this is the most up-to-date photo we've got of her, we've actually got her fingerprints. The police were only interested at that point in talking to Mark and talking to Archie. Okay, they were there. And we do know that in cases like this, you do have to start from the inside and work your way out. We do know that. But it's just, I suppose it's just very sad that that's where they started, although we do know that is the process. And they ended up keeping Mark for 2 days, constantly questioning him, where is your child? But while this was happening, there was a massive search started, there was 100,000 flyers set out of this young girl. It's a very big process to try and get this girl home. They set up the command centre, though, directly sort of outside the home. And it said that a command centre is supposed to be at least half a mile away from the incident of where a crime's taken place, so they can't contaminate evidence and so on. But it was literally just outside of their trailer, basically. And while all of this is going on, and while I've heard someone say that they assaulted the grandfather. What it was is he basically tried to push his way out of the police station while he was being questioned, because he wanted to get back. He wanted to get back and find his granddaughter, and he tried to push his way out, and they manhandled him back in while they could question him. So that's kind of what happened there. So, obviously, at this point, Jessica, okay, she's still in the closet, okay? She's still in the closet. And remember, she's got a TV. She's got access to a TV. So she's watching the news, which he left on for her. And she can see the police and her family. So the search is going on for her. She's watching this. She's actually watching this in real time. And she was just too scared. She was too scared to shout. She was too scared to run. It was said that Mark, her dad, had gone up and down the street shouting her name out while he was looking for her. Did she hear him? There's a good chance she did. Oh, it's just absolutely... That to me, remember my stomach drop in certain stories. That was it for me. It's like this 9-year-old child locked in a cupboard, watching her family, watching them, looking for her, and she's too scared to ask for any help or even scream. Oh God. So as the police are doing their searches, of course, they start knocking on surrounding houses. Now, at this point, they wasn't aware that John was not where he was supposed to be, okay? They wasn't sure what was going on. They weren't sure who they were looking for. At this time, they were looking for Jesse, okay? So they were knocking on surrounding houses, and they knocked on Dorothy's, where John was staying, okay? And she, although they didn't ask about John, they were asking about, have you seen this young girl, showing photos and everything else. She was like, no, don't know anything about it, and closed the door, okay? So then the police start looking at known sex offenders. That's their next step then. They've ticked off all the boxes they need to. They've questioned the family. They've eliminated family from their questions and everything else. Now they've got to start going further afield. So now they're looking at known sex offenders. And in that area where they were, there was 208 registered sex offenders. So they've got to start working very quick to eliminate all of those from their inquiries. And that's when they discovered John wasn't in the house that was registered for him on the system. Okay, that's when they discovered. And then when they start tracing things, they realise Dorothy is John's sister. Dorothy's trailer is 65 yards from where Jessie's gone missing. It's all a bit much. It's all, it's all clicking together. Okay. So they go back to Dorothy's house. All right. And when they knock on, John's actually there, but he hides out the back. And Dorothy stands there brazen-faced going, don't know where he is. He's not here, though. I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is. And they're like, well, can we just come in and have a quick look round? And she's like, okay. And the police do say that the people in the house, the adults in the house, did look a little bit uncomfortable when they were looking through. Was that not a red flag to the police? Now remember, Jessica is in a cupboard in this trailer. The police are now in the trailer. It's not that big, okay? It's not that big. They even go in to the room that John was staying in. They even go into that room. But they don't open the cupboard. And they leave the house. Oh, just... that blew my brain. When I heard this story, I was just like, oh my God. She was right there. She was there. She'd been assaulted by this point, but she was alive. She was there. And they had a quick scan round and they left. Now, we're coming up to 3 days after Jessie had been taken now. And John starts to get a little bit worried now. They're closing in on him. They know that's his sister. They're looking for him. He's obviously having to hide now. And he's also got this young girl that by this point, it was nationwide by now. Everyone knew about this little girl. This little girl's picture was on every newspaper by now. And he's starting to panic. And he could have just dropped her home. He could have just dropped her home. But he doesn't. He tells her that he's taking her home. Okay? He tells her that he is. But he says to her, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to get into these black bags. And she says, can I bring my teddy? He's like, yeah, of course you can. I'm going to put you in these black bags and then I'm going to put you on your dad's porch. Okay? We're going to put you on your dad's porch. And you're going to be home. You're going to be okay. And so she goes, okay. So he gets her to step in to one black bag. And then he covers the top of her with the second black bag. And there she's holding her teddy. And what he'd actually done is earlier on in the day, he dug a hole for this 9-year-old little girl. And he buries her alive. He buries her alive. She was alive. She was alive going into that hole that he dug. Oh, God. Absolute. Oh, monster. Absolute monster. It said that because of her being obviously surrounded by the earth that was put back in, she would have suffocated from the bags because he tied her into the bags. Sorry, I did miss one thing because I'm ever so sorry. He tied her hands. He had tied her hands. I'm sorry, missed that. He had tied her hands before he tied her into the bags. Okay. The hole itself was apparently only about 3 feet down, but covered with the earth, and then the bags on top of her. She would have suffocated anything from 90 seconds to 5 minutes. It would have took that little girl to die. And, oh, just awful. Just absolutely awful. And then he goes back into the trailer and goes back into his room, climbing through his window, as he had been, so no one in the house. Now, you might be like, did they know? Did anyone in that house know? Well, as the police are closing in, Dorothy, his sister, gives him $200 to leave town. Now, there's questions. Was it because they believed, and his sister believed, that he was going to get done because there was warrant out for him because he wasn't living, he hadn't registered at the new address, and he was down as living at another address and he'd been found out? Was that why she gave him the $200 to leave? Or was it because they knew? No one knows. No one knows. There's no proof to say that anyone in that house knew what was going on. But it's just awful, awful. Okay, so the nationwide arrest warrant's now issued on him. And he escapes to Savannah, Georgia. Okay. On the 12th of March 2005, John spotted, reported and arrested. Okay. Denies the whole thing. Deny. I don't know anything. I've done nothing wrong. I don't know what's going on. He's released and he runs, okay, to Augusta, Georgia. Okay. And someone from the Salvation Army happens to recognise him because at this point his picture's plastered everywhere. Nationwide, they are after this guy. So on the 17th of March 2005, I don't know if I said that date, he's picked up again. At first, he wouldn't take a polygraph. He kept asking for his lawyer. And it said that he asked for his lawyer about 8 times. Now, as we know, once you ask for a lawyer, the police are supposed to stop asking any questions. Not allowed to talk to you. They're not allowed to ask you any more questions. They've literally got to stop the interview and leave. They don't, and they keep pushing him to take this polygraph. Okay? And eventually he takes it, but he doesn't wait for the results. He actually says to them, you don't need to tell me what them results are going to be. I already know. And they're like, what do you mean? And he confesses everything to them, which is how we know exactly what he'd done and when he did it and everything else. So he confesses to everything. The police get in touch with the Florida police, because don't forget this is in Georgia. They get in touch with the Florida police. They go straight round to his sister's trailer. They go into his bedroom that they'd already looked in. Let's remember that. They'd already looked in. And they open the closet. They find a mattress in there that's just covered with blood. Pillows covered with blood. They find some of his clothes. obviously with blood on them as well. And because because they're there and he's told them what they've done, they go outside and they find Jessica. Okay. Oh, it's just awful. When they find her, and it is 22 days later, so you can imagine she's decomposition has already started, and you know she's obviously in a very bad state. But it does say that two of her fingers, she'd managed to get two of her fingers through the black bags. Oh, but he tied her. So those two fingers weren't as badly decomposed as the rest of her body, but he said they practically mummified from being had out in the, well, under the earth, but out of the bags. Oh God, just awful. Her little dolphin that she'd just held from beginning to end. They obviously found that as well. That's what she was found with. Her cause of death was obviously suffocation. There was severe injuries to her genitals. They were able to find out that she had been sexually assaulted up to 6 hours before her death. They couldn't tell how many times she'd been sexually assaulted, but obviously it had been quite a few times. There was no other marks and no other bruises, broken bones or anything else, but they did notice that there was no food in her tract, in her stomach or anything else. So the fact is she might not have eaten anything from 12 hours to 3 days. But they don't know if he did actually starve her, because her fingerprints were found on a pizza box that was found in his room. The blood that was found on the mattresses was proven to be Jessica's. Blood that was found on the pillows proven to be Jessica's. There was also DNA found on the mattress that was proven to be his. So it connected everything there. There was also cocaine found on her body. It wasn't ingested by her, but it was obviously done around her somewhere. It said that even though she hadn't actually taken it herself, it would have had an effect on her. Oh God, just awful, awful, awful. On March the 26th, 2005, they held a memorial for Jessica Rose. Over 1,000 people who attended. Now, April the 1st, 2005, he's charged and he had the audacity to plead not guilty. The other charges were dropped against his sister, the niece, and the sister's boyfriend. Not the niece's boyfriend, because he wasn't in the house at the time, I believe. But the charges were dropped against them for not messing with evidence, but for helping him get away, basically. They dropped the charges because they wanted them to basically be a witness for the prosecution. So I don't know. I just feel very torn. Like, did they know? It was said that the house was like a drug den. Now it said there was a child living in there as well. Were they all so high that they didn't notice there was a little girl in the house, but she didn't come out of the room? Did they never go in? Why did she give them the $200 to leave and run? I just don't know. But they never faced anything for that going on. Now, the trial had to be done in Miami, Florida, because it was said that in the area they were in, it was said Citrus in Florida, everyone knew it would have been a very biased jury that he would have been going up against. But but so they managed to find a jury in Miami, Florida, where they could, where he could get a decent trial, let's say. So June the 30th, 2006, though, his confession, do you remember I said when he took the polygraph, that he didn't even wait around for the results before he confessed? But do you remember me also saying that he'd asked for his lawyer up to 8 times before then? So his confession was actually thrown out. And it was said that any evidence that they'd gotten linking to that confession or from that confession would also be inadmissible in court. But the prosecution managed to argue the case that, because don't forget, from his confession, that's when they got in touch with Florida. They said go back to his sister's house. She's there. There'll be evidence there and everything else. But their argument was, look, we were around that area. We would have found her. We would have found her eventually. So that was their argument back to it. Plus, there was so much proof of him, there and everything else. The defence, from their point of view, wanted to point to his low IQ. The abuse that he'd sustained as a child. Now, normally, when I'm doing these sort of stories, I would have mentioned the abuse that he'd received as a child, but I probably wouldn't have gone into as much detail as I have tonight. But the fact that it was used as a defence in his trial, of course, I have to give all the details. And what they did, they sat in there at his trial with a colouring book and pens, trying to make how childlike he is. But an expert came forward to say that basically, look, you can't what's the word I'm looking for? You can't fudge a IQ test to make yourself brighter, but you can fudge an IQ test to make yourself not as bright. I don't want to say dumber. Not as bright. Okay. So there was questions over that because his IQ test would go up and down a little bit. But regardless of any of that, when the judge came to it and took all the IQ tests he'd taken over the period of time he'd been going into prison, he came to the number of 76, which is over the threshold of 70, like I mentioned earlier. Okay. Now, the sentence on the 7th of March 2007, so it took 2 years, but he was found guilty, okay, and he was given the death penalty. We know I always give a clap when get that, but unfortunately, well, it depends what way you see it. He died in 2009, September of 2009, of anal cancer. So it depends how you want to see this, okay? At the trial, Mark, Jessica's dad, who, oh my God, this bloke, I'll tell you a bit about him in a second of what he's been doing since, but he was on the stand basically saying, I hope you hear her cries when you're in bed of a night, and I hope you see the tears that ran down her eyes when you're in bed of a night. It really got me. I would dare to say it didn't get John, but it was absolutely heartbreaking. Now, Mark, from the minute this happened, he at the time hadn't realised just how many sex offenders are in America, let alone Florida where he was, in America. And it was said at that time there was 600,000 in America at that time. So he just sees it as his goal now to try and help as many children and women. It's not child sex offenders, it's sex offenders anyway. And he's had passed the Jessica Lunsford Act, also known as Jesse's Law. Okay, he got that passed. He had a lot of trouble getting it passed, to be honest, because what he wanted was a minimum of 25 years for anyone caught in a lewd act with a child. He couldn't get that passed. The prosecution, the police, the judges, right up to Congress, they wouldn't pass it because that's their bargaining chip, basically. Well, if you confess, we might get it down from, I don't know, 25 to 15 to 10. It's their bargaining chip, and if it's a minimum of 25 mandatory, they're not going to be able to get those confessions as quick as they would like. So they argued that all the way. But what he did get passed was to make sure there's background checks in schools and anywhere where children are. A lot of these laws that we take for granted now are thanks to Mark. The background checks if you want to work in schools or around children, the public to be made if there's a sex offender in your area. There was lots of things that the Jessica Lunsford Act entailed. The only thing is obviously that didn't get past the 25-year minimum. He couldn't get that past itself. He worked so hard to get these laws passed. He not only did that, so he wasn't only speaking in Congress and going to town halls to speak and everything else. He'd also speak in schools, community centres, go to people's homes and talk to them about the dangers of people who live by them, and, just to be more vigilant, be more... just very, very sad, but he made it his life, I suppose. There is something on YouTube called Jesse's Dad, if you do want to have a look at that. He also started a lawsuit against the police department in Citrus Valley, I believe, which was met with complete disdain from the people in the area. Now, understandable why he's bringing that lawsuit. They were in the house twice. They even went to the bedroom and she was in the cupboard. She was still alive. But he was met with such disdain. There was absolute uproar over it in the surrounding area. It's quite a small area. So in the end, the police sergeant there agreed to have a one-on-one with Mark. And no cameras, no anything, just a one-on-one with Mark, under the understanding he would drop those charges if he brought in the changes that Mark was asking for. And they came to an understanding over that, so Mark did drop the charges against that police department. He's also created a building called Jesse's Place, where it means that children don't have to go to an adult and then an adult having to go on to, you have mandated reports and stuff like that. They won't have to wait for that. That there's a building called Jesse's Place where children themselves can come in and talk to somebody and get the help that's needed for them, and that's still up and running. Now in 2009, so 4 years after what had happened to Jesse, but the trailer burnt down. Dorothy's trailer where where Jessie had been brutally raped and murdered and buried alive. It burnt down. And that's all it says. It doesn't say who done it. It doesn't give you any details. It just says it was burnt to the ground. Now, I have seen a creator who I'd never watched anything from this guy before, but he went out there to Florida, and he went to Jessie's graveside, and which I noticed something different, where at the graveside it's got Jessie's, obviously, headstone, and beside the headstone, it's sort of in a three, it's got Mark and the grandmother. So I don't know, I've never heard of that. Is that a process where your name's put on a headstone before you pass? So it's your name, your date of birth, and then nothing written until you pass. I've never seen that before, but that's there as well. And also he drove to where Dorothy had the trailer and what had happened to Jessica, and obviously it had burnt down. There is another trailer in that spot now, which it's a bit of a hard one. There was another thing that was mentioned, that when he dug that grave, now do you remember I says that the police normally should have done their what's the wording for it now? You know, their contact centre, or I know that's not the right word, but it's supposed to be like half a mile away from the houses, and they'd done it right outside. It was under sort of a what is it, a tarp type thing. It was under one of them where you could go in and talk and ask questions and stuff, and there'd be police in there. Well, had that not been up, they would have seen him digging Jessie's grave that afternoon. He did it that day, and he says he could see the police. Oh God, bear with me, I need to find the wording for this. I need to find the wording for it, because otherwise it's going to drive me crazy, because I'm talking and I know I'm not getting the wording right. Hang on a second. What is it called now? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Sorry, bear with me. The police. For goodness sake. Why can't I see it? I know I've said it already. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Sorry, guys. The command centre. For goodness sake. The command centre should have been further down. Had the command centre not been directly outside the house, they would have seen him digging Jessie's grave. So that was another reason he'd started the lawsuit. But obviously, like I say, he did stop that lawsuit when they'd come to the agreement that the things he wanted from the police department would be passed. So, yeah. So that's Mark. But like I say, when he was asked, how do you feel after, you know, finding out John had died, he was like, he said a word, he said like excited, and he says, no, that's not the right word, because he rode a bike, Mark did, and a lot of his biker friends were out when they were looking for Jessie and everything else, and he says he just had to go on his bike and just clear his mind when he found out that he'd passed. But he says it's saving $55,000 a year in costs of him being in prison. You know, it's saving them, because it can take 10 to 12 years when someone's on death penalty, on death row, for them to actually face death. So that's 10 to 12 years of them not, as a family, having to worry about him appealing and everything else. They could just start to move on. So he said that's how he felt about it. But he was also asked, do you forgive him? And it was very quick, and he was like, no, not at all. which I thought's unusual because a lot of these cases, it's like they do forgive, don't they? And, you know, I always wonder, like, God, you're a better person than me. But he was like, no, not at all. Not at all. And he says that, he actually says that God says that if you ever touch a child, that you should just put a noose round your neck and attach to a stone and throw yourself in the water already. That's what God says in the Bible. And he actually says that, you know, when he was dying, he hoped that his feet were starting to get worn and his ass was starting to get worn from him going down. So, you know, it was, yeah, just very sad. And I kind of smiled when I heard him say that, but then you don't want to smile when you hear that. It's very torn with this, hearing that. But yeah, that was the Awful Jessica Lunsford story. Oh, awful. I told you it was going to be horrible, didn't I? Thank you for all joining me. Like I say, I'm here on every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are normally my request evening, but I did want to bring this to you. Thursdays are stories that I'll bring to you. I was supposed to do it Thursday, but I wanted to do it tonight. If you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Or you can like, comment, subscribe, or come and join us in the live. That'd be amazing. I am going to have a quick chat with the guys in the live now. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all Thursday. Thank you. Where are they? Where are they? I'm gonna kill them. Where are they? Where are they? I've got, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Jessica. Where are they? Thanks, Tiff. Courtney and Warwick, where are they gone? Where are they? Could have killed them both. I could have got them both, honestly. You're so naughty, both of you, honestly. I tried so hard as well, so hard. Could have killed you. Thanks, Warwick. Thank you. I shouldn't be thanking you though, but thank you. Yeah, laugh it up, you. Laugh it up. I don't know. I've got to watch it back now. I've got to watch it back. Do you know what? I feel like I probably missed some as well. I feel like I managed to miss some, but I got caught out more than I feel like I have in a while. Yous are terrible, naughty. No, I can't. How can I? I have to wait to the end to do that. I can't. I have to just battle through. But I'd prefer to do that than when I can just feel, because I've got it's the sense of humour thing, isn't it? And I'm like, can't do it. You can't break. You can't break. Ugh, could kill you all. Could really could. Probably not a great wording. All right, I've got to stop saying that, haven't I? Probably not great wording. But who are you anointing? Where are you going? Actually, I've had that. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do as well. Awful. Oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you. Is he off? Is he going? Is that, or is it to me? Oh, look at him skulking out now before I can shout at him. What was I going to say? I wanted to talk to you before you went. No, you were supposed to say, Jess, do you remember you said at the beginning to ask us something? I need to ask you something, because I'm noticing, I know Warwick's mentioned it a few times as well, but have any of yous noticed my views, like, on these stories? Like, obviously we've been doing the live for a year now, and I've noticed I don't really top sort of above 100-ish, really. And you might be like, well, I'll be grateful for that, but I don't mean that. I mean, on my pre-recorded ones, like, I mean, I've got 10,000 views on a couple of them, and I don't understand. Do you think it's not starting quick enough, or chatting at the end. I mean, it's a live, so I'm not gonna start and finish. Otherwise, I might as well just pre-record them. So, what do you think's happening? Has anyone got any idea? I mean, Court's normally our resident YouTube person, the TikTok and all of that sort of stuff. It's because your pre-recorded videos are on your page. You have to scroll up. Is that what it is? Is there any way to change that? Is there any way to change and bring the live up first? What about screen recorder? Oh, really? Who's a weak coward? Who's that? Who's gone? So rather than posting this, rather than posting the live, just post the story. Is that what you would think? Oh, oh, okay. Is that for disappearing before I can bollock him? Oh, I just said bollocking. So post the live, but post the story as well. Would that? Oh, okay. So the live goes on the live, but then post a screen recording on the other. Just can't upload it. You never get anyone. Yeah. What is that, Warwick? I know. The only comments I get is from you guys. I don't read it. The only likes I get is from you guys. I would like that you used to do it. Okay. Might be put off with the live. Alright. How long can you screen record for though? Can you screen record for like 45 minutes or something? Does it allow you? Does your phone allow you to do that? Because I'd be tempted to maybe do that. And maybe, it'll be there. I have done though. I have done that. A couple of the ones I've done. Look, Wade Wilson. I think Kelly asked me to do that, but that one's everywhere. And it didn't get anything. I'm not going to, like, I'm not saying, oh, people love to, like, would like to, I don't mean that, but I mean, based on the pre-recorded ones, I just don't understand what's going on. And same with the comments, like Warwick says, like, there used to be. I mean, I'm still getting comments on my pre-recorded ones, when I go into my analytics, oh, I've glitched. Analytics. Oh my God. What's that? Analytics. Whatever that word is, it is saturated. It is. Where it's a reason. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something. Because I just don't understand. I mean, I love doing the lives. I've said it from when I first started the channel. I wanted to do lives. This is what I want to do. But I don't know about that one, Court. I don't know if that one's going to do any good, but I will do it. I'm going to do it. I will do it. But that's an option to make analytic. Oh, I'm just not in there anyway. In that section, still my most. Or do 2 lives and 1 pre-recorded one away. That's a lot now. Pre-recorded, like not like a completely different story, or pre-recorded one of the same stories I've done in the lives. Because that'd be 3 stories a week, and I like to bring you the lives. Can you do the toilet, Judge? Toily and JJ is, what's her name? Corey Daybell. Daybell, isn't it? Whatever. Laurie Daybell, sorry, Corey. Laurie Daybell, isn't it? And what else did you ask for? Baby Grace. Yes. I do know the Baby Grace one, just normal one. You can maybe do a pre-recorded on a Thursday. Choose to do the live because it's a request. to be pre-recorded then once a month if it's too much. Laurie Valloday Bar, that's it, yes. Yeah, I can look at that one, yeah. I haven't actually done that one. I'm going to have a think. I'm going to have a real think about what I want to do, because in the analytics, as I can't get out my mouth, it right answer, yes, I do know that one. I will do that one for you, Jessica, I will, because I do know that one. I do notice that my pre-recorded are still getting more views than these are. And I know what you mean. It's hard. It's analytics. 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 Keeps going off my screen. Analytics. Analytics. It's not right, is it? Oh, God. I'll get it one day. I'm not even trying anymore. Analytics. But in there, but anyway, okay, leave it with me. I can't get it. I can't get that one right. I don't know how to say it. I really don't. I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to say it, but I obviously don't. I obviously don't know. Oh, God. Sweating everything. I don't know what's going on. Right, okay. So, folks, just... Okay. All right. I'm going to put the stress on. Analytics. Oh, analytics. I'm going to have to practice. I just can't get it. Analytics. Right. Sounds like I'm saying a different language. Right. Jingle time. It's that time. And then I'm going to have a think and see what we do. But I'm not analytic. I know, I can't get it. Well, I'm not gonna leave the lives, because I love doing the lives. But I'm gonna have to. Maybe the screen recording's a good idea. Maybe the screen recordings are not putting the lives up. Maybe. I don't know. Leave it with me, guys. Leave it with me. I feel like it is, Phil. I feel like it is. I'm taking a pummeling tonight, aren't I? I'm not helping myself, though, with the not being able to pronounce that word. But I know you was, Jessica. Thank you. It is. Right, I'm going to do jingle. It's jingle time before I get mocked anymore. Right. If you could comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it, because as I've said, it's only you guys that are doing it. Or like the video even, I'd really appreciate it. Though I've got 8 likes on there tonight, that's amazing. And if you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 2652. Is it 2652? Oh God, I'm glitching so much now. Patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Wasn't even close. 5472. Or look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. There's a lot of feeling gone into that, because it's to people who aren't on it. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Please. Thanks. Oh, there's me 9th. I'm doing well tonight on the likes, aren't I? But yeah, thank you all so much. I need to look back and see just how bad it was. But hopefully it's okay. And yeah, I'm going to be back on Thursday. Don't go down the Emma Kenny live. What's that? What's the Emma Kenny live? What's that? What does that mean? Tell me what that means. Does she do live? What lives does she do? Tell me now. I wonder why I don't get used with it. I didn't actually say that, though. I didn't end it with that. Come on. Look, it's going now. Alright, okay, I've got to stop that. What? Tell me, Warwick. Tell me. I feel I'm gossiping, and I'm not. It's not even supposed to be a gossip. Oh, really? No, Phil always behaves himself. He's always golden. Well, how can you call it a live if you're not live? Like a re-uploaded live, maybe. That's a bit odd. I don't think you'll get Phil. Phil's too golden to be got. You can't walk Phil. You can't get him. Warwick's been trying for a long time. You can't get him. I think the only one who used to send Phil over the edge was the name we don't talk about now. I think that was the only one. I don't know how you do that. How would you do it without doing it? I've heard of a re-upload. I've heard of that. But that's still... I wonder if she's doing them... Like, the only reason I'm saying it is, like, I will upload these to the TikTok to try and bring them over here. And so it looks live, but it's not. It's still alive, but it... Mind you, no, it's the same when I post this, isn't it? It's no longer live. So... I don't know. Where's she doing the actual live? She's got to be doing it somewhere. And then she's reposting it, but I wonder where she's actually doing the live. Oh, I didn't realise that. No, I won't be doing that either. No. I like doing this. Oh, no, I'm not. I wasn't. I don't think I said her name. I don't think I said her name, did I? Did I? I don't think I said it out loud. I don't think I did. Oh, God. Oh, she's got a lot of supporters as well. They're all going to come firing at me, aren't they? I'm going to go a load of crap now. Gotta stop saying crap as well. Anyway. The name that we're not saying, say no. No, not doing it. I know he did, but... the live comments, a lot of people don't go into them. Thank you, Phil. I didn't think I did. So I'm not outing as such. I'm just asking. A million times better. At what? What am I a million times better at? Oh, thank you. That's nice. Oh, really? That's nice. Oh, yeah, we're not having drama. We don't have the drama over here. They're very, yeah, oh, that's why you said I was outing. That's why, because I started going on about the subscribers. Yes, okay. Where's Tiffany gone? I feel like she's disappeared for the last 5 minutes. But, anyway, I'm going to stop I'm going to quit while I'm behind. I'm stopping it. So I'll see you all Thursday, and then we'll discuss where we go forward, because I feel like we all need to be involved of where we go. Who was you waiting? The fans, I think. Wasn't that what I was doing? I thought that's what I was doing, because they're a bit like that, aren't they? They're a bit like. I was about to say someone else's fans then, but I don't know who everyone likes. I'm just not even going to say that name either. So, the fans of who? No. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Please, look, comment and subscribe, please. Right, okay. Nice try. I know, Jessica, she was trying to get me to say it out loud. She's such a bugger. She really is. I didn't catch on the first time. Right, but thank you, guys. Thank you to Warwick and Phil and Court and Tiff and Hayley and Jessica and Sharon and Kelly. I don't think I've forgotten anyone. If I did, I'm very sorry. But I'll be back on Thursday. And thank you guys so much. And we'll discuss what we're going to do, where we're going to go with the channel. But I'm keeping the lives. I like them. Use all. It wouldn't be the same without you trying to throw me off. I don't know how I'd do it. It would be easier. I'm not gonna lie. But it's a. Oh, thanks, Warwick, as well. I know yous are brutal. To be fair, it'd be quite hard for anyone to come in and say something, isn't it, Emma? Get off. Oh, and you, Jessica, thank you. And come back Thursday. Right, guys, and I will, yes, I'll see you all Thursday. Have a fabulous evening, fabulous couple of days, and I'll see you then. Take care, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.